To God be the glory, great things he hath done. So loved he the world that he gave us his Son, who yielded his life an atonement for sin, and opened the life gate that all may go in. Praise the Lord, let the earth hear his voice. That's what we need to do. Let the earth hear his voice. It doesn't have to be because we're singing so loud. Maybe just the birds heard it, but they might like it too because I don't think they like those demon songs, you know? Oh, that's a nice drink. Sorry, I have to have a little joint. But here's the thing. Beware the yeast of the Pharisees, and I think many like to think this is yeast. But I've got news for you. If I don't abuse it, it's not. But you might have it looking at this. Because sometimes I think we should have a verse of the day show. And that is, study to show yourself approved. But I like to blend it with something. Like, according to your faith, it will be given to you. And judge not, lest you be judged in the same manner you judge. So if I'm studied up and you're not, and you're looking at me with this, what? That doesn't go for you. So when people tell me, you shouldn't do that, I'm like, I'm trying to teach kindergarten when I taught third grade for 10 years. And remember, that if I'm not teaching kids to do it, and if you are a kid and you're seeing this, I'm not trying to, make you go do bad things. You got to get till you're older and make it, check with a doctor and all that if you need to or whatever. But I'm not abusing it. It's just a habit I have, like cigarettes, that I just like to taste it and relax a bit and stop getting stressed out with all these things that stress me out, that I think stress the king out. So he lets me do this to relax a bit because I'm not a drinker. But I do like to drink, but I don't like to get all pissy, if you know what I'm saying. Both ways. Because there's a lot of pissy people, if you know what I mean, spiritually. And that's why I don't want you to piss at me. Or get pissy, I mean. So when we consider some of these things, like judge not, lest you be judged, according to your faith, it will be given to you, then it's really good to get that beam from getting stuck in our eye. And get off that Titanic, because it's going to the iceberg real quick, and you gotta row your boat ashore, hallelujah. And then, the king comes, because we're in the great divide right now, and there's a great awakening. Laurie was a comedy show yesterday, and I don't know if you saw it, but it's literally, I couldn't stop laughing. He's threatening literally nuclear war and has some idea of how we're all going to get fried in nuclear war, because North Korea, he's got some inside track. And then the other thing is that we're on this spiritual track down. And I don't know what he's talking about. And if anything, that track has been off for a while, and now people are waking up to how bad it is. And he's in this little dream love boat of his own. Hey, it's end times, bad scenes are coming, but we might have a Billy Graham type awakening. like, I'm thinking a faux faith rapture crap awakening, because he's still got this little beam me up idea that we're all going to go to heaven. There's no kingdom here. I'm like, wow, buddy. And that's how he's got Israel locked up and a war coming for sure. It's like, come on, buddy. I'm not that stupid. You got your theology all hooked up with our sacrifice? Really? So I really wonder what sometimes some of these judgments, I think some of these pastors might be working literally like Darth Vader for the dark side. And they've got like a really good mask on. And maybe that's why they're so into the Egyptian plague, 'cause they're mummies at heart. Wow, that just came to me. So we've got mummied pastors. They're just like King Tut, but it's et tu brute on them. Wow, that could be it. That's the beast mark of the heart that makes them blind and all these things. So, all I'm trying to tell you is to find fun in all these things, because the joy of the Lord should be your strength. So don't get down when you see these things, because it can be a comedy show. Because really, if you trusted Greg Laurie and you watch him today, he's like, that last message was end times, whatever, I don't even remember, like 3 Revelation scenarios or something. And it's like bad news. It was like, it's almost like I want to make titles for all these things. Like, it's like bad news bears. Bad News Bears 2 with one good scene, maybe, if I can save you all, like Billy Graham once did as a 33rd degree Mason. Are you one too there, buddy? And how connected are you to that Tree of Life cabal? Because Trump was that, and you had a White House key not long ago and were like arm wrestling with Mel Gibson. Was there some significance to that arm wrestling? Was that like the war coming that you're talking about? Because Mel Gibson is on the other side and you're on the dark side? You're like Darth Vader? So, it's, if these beast marked like the other guy, Chucky Cheese Baldwin, it's like, what is up, dude? Are you really gonna live on that fantasy island? He's like telling his people to make sure that Satan's not in them, that they're not Judas. Is it me, Lord? He's telling his people to say that. And that's like a pastor in Carlsbad that came to this church, and he was really popular. He got hired to like double the size of the church or something. It was like a movie star. They paid him like big bucks, but you know, the name of the church used to be called the Country Club Church. So that might be part of the thing. Because when that guy, he was a good preacher. I mean, he could preach. And I tell you what, he sucked me in. I was like going for it. I was like, this guy's great. I was telling everybody at church, yeah, I love this guy, man. He's amazing. And he would give these like breakdowns emotionally where he would cry and everything. It would touch your heart so much. You'd like shed a tear and be like, oh, this guy's been through it. I mean, he had like stories and stuff. But then I noticed he started crying like every week. And I'm like, wait a minute. Here, this guy's got like emotional issues. He's not really a man, or he's putting on a show. Well, let's just say he kind of got exposed. There was like some problems where his fruitfulness and joy, well, it wasn't like the stage. Once exit stage left happened, well, he kind of exited all right. And then his other person, it was like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And then they started like this website against him or whatever. No, it was like a blog. And then he was like similar, like Chucky Cheese guy, Baldwin. He was like, I want you all to swear that you're not going to read this blog about me. It's all lies. Like, really? It didn't. I thought the king said, don't make an oath, let your yes be yes. So that's the thing we need to remember with all these things. We can watch them like a comedy because they're sold out. So it's just like a movie. You can just watch The Love Boat or whatever, The Island, whatever you pick. It's just like, wow, fun, because they're gone. But the thing is, you just gotta hope for the sheep and try to feed them however you can. If you can throw seed to them on a chat, whatever you can, just throw seed. And it's just simple verses from the king, like, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom. And people that are denial, they're already beasted or whatever, well, they're just not going to get it. And that's why we plant seed. We don't know what's going to take and what's not going to not. And that's has a lot to do with this tribal stuff. I think that's why he wrote those tribes, because he was just testing to see if we're all a bunch of bigots at heart and trying to divide like the dividers and chiefs. And you can see it's totally working out just like the plan, because everybody's jumping on one boat or one other one, but they don't realize that they're in those seas, 7 seas of lies. And there is a verse that says, don't be tossed around by winds of doctrines. Like the seas, like the 7 seas, or the waves, I think it is. That's just like surfing. So it's kind of interesting how Laurie is a surfer, and he looks like he wants to be a pillar. And that's the other thing, is the gaslighting. That's what's so funny about these things. If you know what's going on, it's really funny, but you gotta laugh and have that joy of the Lord as your strength, because if you know the king and he's coming, they're in denial already, then it is just like a comedy show, because he will not say king. Like Laurie will not say king, but he'll talk about, oh yeah, Israel's locked in and there's going to be war, and China's, oh man, it's evil. I'm telling you, it's ugly. It's going to get bad. You know what I mean? It's like, well, wait a minute. What about the king coming and how he's going to protect his people? It's like, that's where it's like, oh, really? You're not going to talk about... He always wants to talk about how Jehovah's Witnesses think they're going to be 144. And it's like, well, if it was earnings, then they've been working hard from way before. So who are you to point your finger? All you're trying to earn is a little heaven that doesn't exist already. So what planet are you really on? Or you know what I mean? Sometimes I do wonder. I really just do. It's like, are you really that blind, or are you just... Maybe it's a loneliness thing, because that's the thing, is when you're with God, you're not alone. But when you're with a demon, you really kind of are, because the demons, they just play games anyway. So it's not like you're sealed in them. And if you are, it might be like possession. I'm wondering. But see, the movie Misery, that is what it is, you see? Because if you have taught others that you're never alone, and that you know God and move mountains with him, and that if you listen to me, then you can be with God too. And people all come and say, oh yes, it's you. But then later, when it goes dark, then somebody says, Luke, come to the light side. And many go. Well then, instead of him going, oh, I want to go too, my bad, I should have done that, let me give all that money back to you. Well, instead, their seal is gone now, and the Holy Spirit is left, and they've already blasphemed him. So their demons are with them, and that's like, oh, this is an ugly place. I don't want to be alone here. So here, let me have some new messages of theology. I'll just change my tone a bit and make sure that we don't think Satan's here, so none of you have Satan, right? Like, because I do. You see what I mean? Because he's been with that angel of light scene for quite a while now, and the people have been drinking that Kool-Aid, and well, he's trying to see how many are bought out because they don't see that ditch that's heaven or whatever his end times views are, because I've never heard him talk about it except for gaslighting. He says he's not Zionist, but he's like scared to be called anti-Semite or something because he doesn't say what that is or what the end times means or whatever. So maybe he's a Semite anti-Zionist? I don't understand, really. So you just got to get with the plan, because it just really is fun to watch if you're on the right team and you know what they're doing, and you just throw seed wherever you can and hope for the best, because some of these love boats are just Titanics. They're going to crash, and the people want to be on them because it's already the love boat to them. They already saw the show too many times. Like me, I was there watching the Love Boat as a kid every week. What's it going to be this week? Where are we going to go? You know, like, it's just like that. It's a fantasy. And so just, you know, don't worry about the little things, about the smokers and the drinkers and all these weird things that everybody wants to get all divider in chief about, that we've been doing for too many years. We just follow the 2 greatest commandments and think about these things and enjoy the show, because it's everywhere. And like, it's just amazing, because like, Greg, Laurie, do you really think that you are going to like evangelize us with like your faux faith shit? No, we're coming for a true king with true hearts, like Braveheart and Passion, which Passion 2 is the one coming true that we want to be a part of. And he's wants warriors like him that are coming. They're coming to fight, and we're doing it like with the king, like this. And however we spread seed, whatever that may be. But that's based on the 2 greatest commandments, not doctrinal glue traps like you're trying to keep us in. Oh, yes, it's okay. It's maybe 2 really bad scenes, like nuclear war is going to destroy us all, or we're just going to just kind of dissolve. What's the other one? There's 3 things. This, you know, we're just going to slowly self-destruct, go downhill, like whatever fearmonger city mass mummies all the way down. Or the other one is we're just going to have like nuclear just like full on take us out. Or we're going to have this huge awakening with Greg Laurie style. It's just going to be like Billy Graham packed everywhere. 150 million are going to get saved, and just going to be like an exodus spiritually. Or some amazing love boat. So it's all about your attitude and perspective. That's the key right now. Because if you got joy in your heart and the joy of the Lord is your strength, you can pray for all these things and it doesn't really matter. And just enjoy the show, because if you're on the right team, it's all good from here. Just don't play these silly games and get caught up in these schemes, or swear it's a Chucky Cheese show. No, I don't have Satan in me. Is it me? Is it me, Lord? That's what he was actually asking to say. Is it me, Lord? Do I have Satan in me? Really? And have you already said that, Mr. Chucky Cheese? Just like, wow. Gaslight City. So have some fun with it and just relax and don't get all caught up in the tracks before the train comes and it's a runaway train. Or, you know, just remember that verse, those waves of doctrines. And doctrines of men make seas of lies. So don't get tossed about by these doctrines, because they are a Titanic going to that iceberg in that 7 seas of lies. It all fits right there. So bam. Wow. That's like a whole new video right there. The Titanic on the 7 seas of lies and how it's going to crash and all the people on it. It's not going to be pretty. So just beware the iceberg, as I hope that Frankie in 5 wakes up. What the heck is up with that guy? I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get too messed up. But yeah, just watch the shows and enjoy them. And if you want to go on the chats and have fun, say, where's the king? I don't see the king. I like to say now on the chat, on the little comment message thing. So are you part of the anti-king, anti-Christ movement? Because I haven't heard you say king or Philippians 2 or anything. So I guess you're just like on a fantasy. So that kind of might be some good seed to wake people up. Just little verses like that, just say, where's Philippians 2? I don't see that king, but everybody's kind of about to. So what's going on? Where are you? Is that part of your little heaven plan? Because if he's coming and you got no faith for him, according to your faith, it will be given to you. So what's your faith? What is your faith? Is it like that Spanish idea? ¿Cuánto ganas? How much do you win? No, it's how much do you make, like earn. That's the key, see? So just get to work for the king and work as unto the Lord. That's the key to the verse. And we shouldn't be doing that all along, whether we're painting houses or whatever we're doing. But paint as unto the Lord, and you teach as unto the Lord. That's why I do this. It's just much fun because I've been doing it with kids for years, and kids are easy to teach, especially when there's only 5 of them show up. Then you don't have to worry like, oh man, this kid's going to be hard to control. If you can keep 5 third graders from losing attention with you, you're on a page, because they loved it and it was just fun. If you're just fun about it and look at the funny things and don't get all negative. Oh, we're going to have a nuclear war anytime, so you might want to mummy up. No, that's not how I get. I just trust the king, and that's part of that protected remnant stuff. I thought that's according to your faith, it's going to be given you. So what are you all worried about? Oh, you of little faith? Why did you doubt? So let's not be disciples with little faith. Let's be centurions with great faith. And maybe that's part of that tribal thing, like centurion, tribal hearts, great faith. It all fits. So just get your head on straight and enjoy the show, because it's funnier every day. Watch for Greg Laurie's latest, or you can watch, I think that last chat. I think that's the other thing. That monograph, he said that there's something like you can bet on how successful videos are on YouTube and which they watch and all this stuff. And I don't know. I'm not trying to get ratings or whatever. I don't even know how they work. And I'm just amazed at how much some of you watch these videos, because before I had like exercise videos and I would have 10 views and I'd be like, wow, that's pretty good. Might be 10 people that get this workout and learn that 41 straight push-ups lower your heart attack risk 96%. If they don't want to listen to it, or like my organic cooking macaroni and cheese or whatever, I was like, hey, this is really good. I think I got 100 views, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. So I'm not like that. I'm not all oh man, I got to get this many clicks. I mean, that's the remnant thing, because some of these titles, if they don't wake anybody up, I don't even know what to do, because wow, the fog is thick in that Sino de Satan and all their brainwashing techniques, I'll tell you that. So just get on the right team and don't worry about anything but the king, and it makes it so much easier, because the joy of the Lord is your strength, and it's not a faux Lord like that Greg Laurie has with his nuclear war and all these things. And that's so fear-mongering. I mean, that really starts to get like a crime, and I'm glad that I'm full on a Braveheart against him, because if he's pillared out that bad that he wants to be, that's why the Titanic works so good, because he's like the captain that's going into the iceberg, but he knows the iceberg is there. He must, unless he got brainwashed when he was 12. I don't know, but I'm just thinking because there's a lot of rumors about, like, the captain of the Titanic might have been kind of like a, set up like, hey, man, just go straight into it and act stupid. And he's like, okay, oh, it's coming. Whoa, oh, no, I didn't see it. I forgot. So maybe there's something I don't know. But I mean, some of this, like, who's directing the show? Like, where do these ideas of the nuclear war, where they all come from? Because I don't see it in the scripture. And somebody's calling you from the CIA, or was that from the guy who gave you the key to the White House, Greg Laurie, when Trump was president, when you kind of like giving that kind of John MacArthur sound? I'm like, well, we're pro-life, so of course we're for Trump kind of thing, when he was the biggest LGBTQ president ever with his gold coins with the knives on the back to cut everybody's heads off if they are anti-LGBTQ, anti-Semite. And you don't talk about any of these things, and Biden's pushing those laws through today still. It's kind of interesting how you're talking about a nuclear war now. What if it was about, like, how that Jesus Christ show is all about never saying king, but calling himself the Holy Host, who, if you talk to him, you better not have smoked any weed or drank anything, because then he is literally more holy than you, and you're not worthy to talk to him. But that's what I thought confession was all about, my dear Christ. Really? Because if I called your little radio show and you said that you were Jesus Christ, and I could talk to you like I could talk to you anytime in prayer, well, then if I'm talking to you, how are you telling me that I'm too drunk to talk to my holy host? Because even if I was drunk, wouldn't I be able to confess to him, wow, Lord, sorry, I drank too much? And what would he do? Throw me in hell? That's kind of a weird attitude. And then if somebody calls up and says, I think I was born gay, he says, well, of course, that's how I created you. I didn't see that said by Jesus anywhere. And yet, he doesn't say king. Isn't that like an anti-Christ? I thought that was a definition from somebody. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can just really be entertained by these things. I don't laugh at him much because I think he's like literally an agent. Because to say these things is just like ridiculous. And he literally talks like he knows the Bible, but it looks like it went through some psychologist class or something, because he does counseling and is so like Pharisee minded in all of his ways. Anyway, just have some fun. Relax. I get stressed out with fake Jesus. It's real bad when they call themselves that and say they're too holy to talk, especially when I feel like I could debate him. But, I can never call and get on the phone there. It's like, did you guys get some, like, information about me or something? So, don't stress. Don't even worry about all that. Just trust the King and his plan and pray to him. And if you spend time doing that, then all these liars, it doesn't matter, because you can see right through their lies with that truth and the eyes that you get. Because that's the other thing that Chucky Cheese Baldwin said, is that we have to have spiritual eyes and discernment to see who among us might be dividing us and get them out from the flock. So I guess somebody like me would not be invited to his church. Is that what he's trying to say? Like, I can't come visit next week, Chucky Cheese, because I would like give you some applause maybe.